Part 3. 2 parts before this one. Watch them. When finishing the Dark Sanctuary, you might be thinking, if Dark Sanctuary is so good, why isn't there a second Sanctuary? Well, Susie thought that too, so she made it herself. The darkeners are swapped, the colors are funky, music can't use a conventional time signature to save its life, it's overall more chaotic. This really is Susie's Dark World. But even without this one being made by the Knight, or an assistant of the Knight, more parts of the prophecy show up here like before. This is still the church after all. And yes, there's a whole bunch that I'm dying to get to, but again, now is not the time. I'm sorry. Susie likely being a half-assed swap in the prophecy will have to come some other video. But if you want anything out of me right now about the subject, I already said my piece about it earlier this year. It's from the Chapter 2 era, but it's aged surprisingly well. If you go watch it, please enjoy it, and don't be afraid to point out where I've gotten things wrong. Like, for example, we still don't have the depths. Or, I guess maybe we do, but that's besides the point. Regardless of how the prophecy might have been, what we have here is what it is now. And it's great to see Susie so enthused about it all. Of course, she only half gets the meaning of how each of them are represented, to say nothing of how this leads into the heart-shattering last prophecy, which we of course still don't know the details on. But let's just allow Susie to be happy for a bit. Not just about the last prophecy, but also the Sound of Justice is, well, that's gonna put a damper on things anyway. And for our purposes, there's one prophecy I'd like us to touch on. So let's go back to our roots. As we finally check in on... After an embarrassingly long time trying to scope out individual windows, finally found the actual corridor where the man room is in. I was on the edge of my seat at this point, which was kinda hard to tell with the Let's Play, but such is how I typically emote when I'm alone. Keep things as short as I can for now, the corridor and the little library space already raise a whole bunch of eyebrows. Among this is stuff about the Holiday Sisters, Chris's trauma about the whole cat-shaped situation, and hints about the origins of the shadow crystals. Shadow Mantle? Do not misspeak in my presence past me. Anyway, from the second thing, at long last, we are finally given an actual physical description of the man, albeit a scant one. He's only got one eye. This hard confirms that the Mystery Man and Forgotten Man are different characters. Won't stop people from calling the Forgotten Man Gaster, but, you know, given my own current theory, I'm not gonna throw the whole thing out. The tone only grows more cozily discomforting from here. Beyond the man, as expected, the missing 7th Flying Ace is here as a secretary who we might have met, I'm not too sure, and even more Goner stuff, and some other artist. How quaint. Again, in the future, I'll revisit the man properly, with the updated info and my expanded Grandpa Semi-theory, which you can watch the old version made back in the day, just be aware of the quality difference. I have a bunch more to say, but I've had trouble concising this segment down as is. Can't blame a bark for trying. With a rather frightening encounter with the Sound of Justice, and character catharsis and development in hand, we can now traverse into the third and final Sanctuary. A great marriage of the first and second, draped in a stunning collage of different prophecy illustrations. Actually, with how many and important they are, please tell me what your favorite prophecy parts are in the comments. For me, I'd say it's the Ring of Heaven's Call, if only because it's so obviously related to Noel. Rousey believes there's practically nothing on Noel in the actual prophecy, and I don't buy that one bit. Oh, and its sibling prophecies are cool too, I guess. All within this here sanctuary. Not much to say about the area itself beyond that, as it is quite short beyond the climax, so let's move on to said climax. After a show of mutual love and commitment between these three friends, and the other friends we've made along the way, the Knight is cornered, and does this. And thus, a Titan is born. Dear God. But hey, can't blame them too much, it was Susie's idea. Similarly to the Knight being the final boss of Chapter 3, no one was expecting a bloody Titan to show up so far before the roaring. Rousey's abject horror at the situation sells it all, even stressing the necessity to show the Titans and its spawn no mercy. This is quite the turn. This whole encounter and boss fight is immaculate. So vertical. So vigorous. It really does feel like fighting something far above your league, unlike the Knight, which is more so like a ravenous equal sort of deal, at least to me. But much like how the Knight was interrupted by Undyne, familiar tortoise shows up to lend us a hand. Susie does a Sans reference, allowing us to seal the Titan just like any other fountain. Such a thrilling altercation and a twist. If only we could keep this high going. If only. After such a high point, we have reached the following action. Despite taking down the closest thing to a god we've come across so far, the victory is hollow, as the burdens and losses are logged into our heroes' minds. With nothing else, we go outside. That's when the song plays. Oh my god. It's raining somewhere else. The place where it rained. This is it. This is the official confirmation of Sans' old home. Hometown was the somewhere else. The place of green grass. The place where he was happy. The place where he had his friends that he wouldn't dare forget. The place he will have to depart from in the coming days. As you could tell from the clip, even with me being tired and overwhelmed in the recording, I sobbed. It took us 10 years to get to this point. The absolute catharsis of both not needing to rely on observation and analysis to argue this, and more importantly, the actualization of the weight of Sans' homesickness and loneliness. It is heavy. Of course, there are two caveats to this at the current time. First, we've never come to the point where Sans has properly befriended the heroes yet, nor the time, reasons, or means of his departure. Second, Sans, at this point in the chapter itself, is revealed to be parting with a drunk Toriel. A nice little sigh of relief for her, even though an intoxicated and neglectful parent is never a good thing, I know from experience. But if you talk to them again, we're told it was Sans himself who convinced Toriel not to go to the church, so she was once again spared from being yet another unwilling resident of the shelter. For now. Yeah, as I've been arguing in other videos, Sans is definitely in the know about what's going on to some degree. I'm sure we'll get a whole bunch more from him in the story from this point on. But back to some of the more active members of the story for a bit. After such a long chapter, Chris gets another call from the night, alluding to the lyrics of Don't Forget, and having yet another text-based run-in with Gaster, expressing his enthusiasm for getting to this halfway point in the story, and revealing that Deltarune is his story, his game. Not really a surprise to many, but seeing the scientific demon man geeking out about his own creation is cute, even if he's trying, and mostly succeeding, to be scary. See you again in 2026, Doc. Don't think I forgot about Mike's room, though. Could have covered this earlier, but I wanted to reflect on how I experienced it. Honestly, not what I expected. Kind of half, given what I expressed in my trailer and friend videos from earlier this year. Even still, these three dorks are great. Their fight is creative, with Cat Swing becoming one of my new favorite tracks. And their minigames are fun, though my PC certainly didn't sound as amused. That's why I didn't upload myself doing this, but not entirely. I was also just far too tired and overstimulated at this point to give good commentary, over the cooling fans or otherwise. Moreover, as a result of my condition, I also wasn't quite interpreting the fake mics correctly, erroneously viewing them as a mockery or a perversion of expectation from both fan theories and the stuff going on with the build-up of Mike in Chapter 2 onward, including Friend itself. Needless to say, I, like some others somehow still believing this hogwash, was completely and objectively wrong. But going off of that, I did want to put something here regarding some more unfounded fan animosity and staunch ignorance that came in the wake of the new release, including what I just described. The fans got a lot of stuff right, and even at least corroborated in terms of our theories. Here's a list of all that I could identify. It's quite a bit. As for the fake mics, Toby wouldn't give us more game at the 11th hour just to mock us, especially when it's so closely related to a mystery that's already been going on, be it Mike, Friend, or both. This trio also serves to celebrate our enthusiasm, much like Cowboy Mike says and Gerson encourages. While a real Mike definitely exists, this sort of thing's broadly been the plan for who knows how long. This specific execution immortalizes fan theories and fanworks officially, and, in a way, makes them kind of true regardless if it applies to the real Mike or not. If you know anything about Toby's now deleted YouTube playlist, the piano Easter egg, or even the recent 72 uses for Snails book, you'd know he loves Woody Theory just as much as we do. Nevertheless, it wouldn't be a Toby Fox fake-out if the superficial red herring didn't build up to the truth that was feigning a distraction from. We've had these games for a decade. Y'all should know this by now. But to close this segment, the point of me saying this is thus: starve your ignorance, and if you're going to criticize or satirize others, at least have a leg to stand on. Please. Goodness! This whole thing was longer than I wanted it to be. Oh dear, seems I really have been... Well, sorry about that. Anxiety and going back to college have really gotten me down. I'll catch you on the next part of... Wait. No, I actually finished the overviews. After so many months, I can make speculation videos again. I'm free. I'm finally free! Weird Root video next. Break out your thorns and your So Retro React gifts, cause we're not slowing down. Please stay tuned for that and other videos with a subscription and a Discord join. Consider signing up for my Patreon, and please do share what you've liked most about chapters 3 and 4. All that said, I hope to see y'all again another time.